Yo, what is up, you guys? It is your boy Manameo back at it again with another long form video. So today we're gonna be doing a Cloud matchup chart for Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is all my opinion. This is just a matchup chart. Tell you who I think Cloud wins against, who I think he does okay against or even against, or who do I think he struggles against. Now, mind you, I don't think Cloud loses to too many characters, maybe like 2 or 3. So we're gonna go through each section, probably a minute per character or 30 seconds per character. Just jot down a couple points. So we're gonna start alphabetically here. Let's go Banjo. Now, I think Cloud beats Banjo. Reason why is I'll put him in +2. Reason why, I feel like Cloud does really good against a lot of Banjo's aerials. A lot of Banjo's aerials are just barely unsafe against Cloud, so I could just up B at a shield for free. They also take a lot of startup to come out, so I could really just rush him down and cross slash him and really like be oppressive in neutral, since he can't punish me for going for forward airs or back airs. I feel like a lot of my pressure is very overwhelming for Banjo, and he has to really outplay me with setups and grenade. Personally, I think this is a +2 matchup. I have seen Tony Yuri beat Spargo, so it is doable. Any matchup's doable, even if it's winning. But it's definitely very hard based off of what I know about Banjo's kit, because Banjo's kit doesn't really do well against Cloud, in my opinion. Alright, next up, we're going to talk about Bayonetta. Bayonetta, I think, is another +2. A lot of Cloud players will initially struggle against Bayonetta. Now, here's one tip if you have to understand to fight Bayonetta as Cloud. Play grounded. The reason why you're getting hit is because you're in the air. And when Bayonetta uses her side B, that starts up a combo from the ground and drags you all the way up. So in combination with good SDI, alongside being more grounded and up being out of shield those side Bs, you should be able to punish it a lot easier. Obviously, there's still counterplay from the Bayonetta, especially using the usage of grabs. But overall, a lot of her moves are unsafe. It's just she can catch you while you're in the air and while you're jumping in neutral. So really just stay grounded for the most part, and you should be fine, in my opinion. Alrighty, next up. This is going to be the first shocker for some people. I think Bowser is actually an even matchup. And maybe wondering, Bowser? Isn't Bowser not that good? Well, let me explain. So Bowser Cloud is a pretty interesting matchup. I've played the matchup for hundreds of hours. What I can tell you is that Bowser goes very back and forth with Cloud. Now, let's talk about what Cloud does good against this character. Cloud can pressure him. He could mash on Bowser for being a heavyweight and a big punching bag, alongside winning neutral a lot easier. Now, what can Bowser do? Bowser off the level can use neutral B and F tilt to really out priority Cloud's up B recovery, which kind of makes it hard to recover, but air dodge, jump a directional air dodge upward does beat out a lot of these options, but it's still something to consider. Forward air can contest a lot of Cloud's aerials if timed correctly from Bowser. Alongside that, Cloud players tend to shield a bit too much, so you will see a lot of Bowser players try to jump side B out of shield to just punish a shielding, mass shielding. Alongside that, I'm sure there's a lot more other examples of counterplay. Obviously, Bowser has really good landing mix-ups, a lot of easy early kills. So I think it's even overall because both of them kind of shit on each other in different departments. Now, do I think Bowser wins against Cloud? Hell no. Do I think Cloud beats Bowser? No. I think it's even just because they both volatilely destroy each other. Next up, let's talk about Bowser Jr. Now, I know this matchup a lot. This is a +2. Cloud can out priority Bowser Jr.'s side B because he actually hits the hand, which, if you know about Bowser Jr., the clown cart gives him damage reduction and knockback reduction. It's very slight, but it does exist. But Cloud back air will hit the hand when he's side B'ing, so out priority. A lot of this matchup is really just out timing Bowser Jr., because a lot of Bowser Jr.'s are going to use a lot of neutral air in this matchup against Cloud, because a lot of Cloud's moves take a little bit of startup, which is not a bad thing, but you got to mix up your timings as the Cloud player to avoid getting nair spammed by Bowser Jr. Obviously, Clown Cart is really good in this matchup against Cloud. Up B could be a pretty good mix-up, especially into a confirm. You can Hurtbox shift out of up air confirms, but it's very DI specific, and it depends on the combo the Bowser Jr. is going to do. Best route is to DI out. But overall, off the level, Cloud destroys Bowser Jr. He could actually dare Bowser Jr. From ledge when he's trying to up B, and you could get it almost consistently. Alongside that, you could just punish side B. You can punish that with an overshoot back air or an overshoot back hit of neutral air, because the back hit of neutral air actually hits the head, so you'll be able to contest. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Bowser Jr. I think it's a pretty dominant matchup for Cloud. Pretty easy, pretty easy. Next up, let's talk about Byleth. Byleth is another +2. Put it simply, the reason this is a +2 for Cloud is because Byleth is super slow. A lot of Byleth's options are her ground speed is really slow and their air speed is really slow. So their main neutral tools are neutral air, the bow, and then forward air, the lance, right? The lance takes a while to come out, but it's safe, right? But surprisingly against Cloud, he could actually up B out of shield that forward air for free. And then the neutral air, which is the faster one, actually is unsafe on block. So if you completely shield it as the Cloud player, I bet you can get a free up smash out of shield. Now, it's not consistent because it is -11. Most of the time you want to go for an up B, but it can work, especially if they're doing a high up B. So definitely something to consider. Cross slash kind of hurts their game plan a lot because they do want to like space you out in the air. So if you really just dash shield is also very effective, just to punish them for catching landings. You could also use back air or neutral air, possibly even an overshoot forward air to contest and out time their forward air. All in all, Byleth's just really too slow to deal with Cloud's pressure, and they can't really do much out of shield unless you make a genuine mistake. Alright, let's talk about Falcon. Falcon +2. I think Cloud does really good against Falcon. A lot of Falcon's neutral air combos can be really avoided by SDI. Up air has a hurtbox shift mechanic where it like ducks Cloud under in the first couple frames. So you could avoid a lot of up air strings and confirms against Falcon with Cloud. Now, obviously, Captain Falcon players can read your DI and try to counter that, but at low levels of play, it almost works every time. Obviously, Falcon's really fast, but he has a hard time contesting Cloud's big sword hitboxes. And also, Cloud can really edge guard Falcon really hard off the level. And ledge trapping is really good against Falcon. Falcon's disadvantage kind of gets torn apart by Cloud, because Cloud has a really solid advantage state. Next up, let's talk about Chrom. I think Chrom's a +1. Now, why won't it be a +2? The reason it's a +1, I feel like, is because Chrom does have some safe buttons at his disposal. This being neutral air, forward air, down tilt. You know, he has a lot of safe poking aerials that are safe against Cloud. For example, Chrom's forward air is -4, so I can't really punish that much as Cloud's up B, unless they don't shield after hitting it. Chrom also has a lot of rock, paper, scissors mix-ups, especially with jab and neutral air and forward air. So it is really tricky because Chrom can pressure Cloud as much as Cloud can pressure Chrom. Now, the reason Chrom loses is because Cloud can pressure him harder and easier than Chrom himself. For example, back air is safer, less committal, and forward air is as well compared to Chrom's aerials. And Cloud doesn't have to force himself into a rock, paper, scissors situation unless he wants to. And also, recovering with Chrom against Cloud is really hard because Chrom has an exploitable recovery and he's a fast faller. So edge guarding works effectively against Chrom because Cloud actually has options to edge guard pretty well against Chrom. Next, Corrin. I think Cloud Corrin is even. Now, you may be wondering why. I think it's even mainly because Corrin can contest Cloud's big hitboxes. Now, you may be wondering, well, doesn't Chrom and Corrin have similar hitboxes? How does Corrin do better against Cloud than Chrom? And the reason why is because, unlike Chrom, Corrin's forward air could actually lead into vertical pressure. A lot of vertical pressure. So much so that I feel like it's such an oppressive tool sometimes against Cloud that you actually have to respect it. And most of the time, Cloud doesn't have to respect characters because he's so broken. So in that case, I feel like really Corrin is one of the few characters that has safe poking moves against Cloud, which is really good. They have forward air, they have back air. Neutral air is kind of iffy because it is -7, but it's a good landing tool against Cloud sometimes because it can hit, especially if the Cloud's not expecting it. Pin also does work effectively against Cloud because he has no real way of like breaking off Pin. Like he doesn't have a wolf laser. Like his Blade Beam can't really do that much against it unless you limit Blade Beam. Overall, they bully each other pretty well. I think Cloud does good against Corrin in ledge trapping and destroys her in disadvantage when Corrin's in disadvantage. But I also feel like when Corrin has advantage state, it is so hard to get back as the Cloud player. So both of the characters is another situation similar to the Bowser situation where both characters destroy each other in similar things. Corrin definitely can beat Cloud off the level though, which is why I would consider it even though Corrin does tend to struggle a little bit in disadvantage against Cloud. Next up, let's talk about Diddy. Now Diddy, I don't know too much about the matchup, but what I can say is that it's an easy +1. For me, Diddy is really nimble and really small. And the only thing that you'll really struggle with as Cloud against Diddy is Banana. Banana confirms work effectively against Cloud. They're pretty good, but if you grab Banana and try to like throw it away or try to use it in your own combo and just keep it off your Diddy Kong's grabby little hands, you should be fine as a Cloud player. Obviously, it is still very difficult because this matchup isn't really played that much. You don't see that many Diddies. They have a lot of safe poking moves. Their moves are super safe against Cloud, so it's kind of hard to add a shield spam them. All in all, I think the only reason it's winning is because Diddy Kong's disadvantage isn't really the best against Cloud. I feel like once you get a hit in neutral and win that neutral stake, you will have a really easy advantage state. That's the only reason it's +1. It could easily be even if Diddy players learn to counterplay. What else? Let's talk about DK. Now, a lot of people will say DK beats Cloud or whatever. I think it's even, but I also think it's +1 at the same time. Here's why. I think I'm gonna put it in even here. Same thing. Cloud players tend to shield a lot, and one of DK's best abilities is his grab, his cargo throw. So he can use cargo throw to his advantage, especially at later percents, to edge guard Cloud off the level and just throw him off. And since Cloud doesn't have the best recovery, especially when he's sent at like this angle super deep, it's kind of difficult for him to get back. That's not the whole picture, obviously. DK does have a bit of safe poking buttons against Cloud. He can poke somewhat safely. The reason it's even though and not losing is Cloud can basically overshoot and mash on DK for free, and can punish most of DK's options with the up B at a shield for free. And alongside that, I also think Cloud can edge guard DK pretty successfully, because DK's recovery isn't really that good compared to Bowser's, where Bowser, you can't really edge guard Bowser as Cloud unless the Bowser is stupid, because the up B can contest Cloud's neutral air. Next up, Doc. I think this is actually Cloud's best matchup, probably a +3 if we're being real. Doc struggles against Cloud. First off, Doc is very slow, so that means Cloud can really outrun him, overshoot for free against him, and can pressure his shield a lot. A lot of Dr. Mario's options have a lot of startup as well, for surprisingly being a brawl character. And pills don't really work effectively against Cloud either, because you have moves like back air, forward air, that basically treat pills like a fly swatter. And off the level, so bad. Dr. Mario gets completely destroyed off the level, because a lot of his options send him upwards, and if you do one Cloud neutral air or overshoot back air, it can kill Dr. Mario early, just from losing one interaction. So it's definitely a super winning matchup for Cloud. We're gonna do Dark Pit and Dark Samus. I think this is +1. Let me just bumble Pit and Dark Pit together. Reason why? I feel like Pit is way too honest for his own good. I think Pit has a lot of buttons. While they are multi-hits, and they do a lot of pressure, I feel like Cloud can avoid a lot of those options for free. With an up B out of shield. If he shields fully, he can get up B out of shield against every single one of Pit's aerials. Alongside that, when in neutral, I feel like Pit doesn't have a lot of options to deal with Cloud's pressure. Out of shield, it's really what the Pit really has to do is spam Nair and really time their aerials against Cloud, which is doable. And they can edge guard Cloud a decent bit with Nair, so they do have options against that. So there is some counterplay for Pit. Like, his Nair is a very long-lasting move. So if they time their Nair correctly, they can catch you for trying to jump in neutral. But overall, I feel like this matchup is still winning for Cloud because ledge trapping works effectively against Pit, and surprisingly edge guarding too. Even though they have a good recovery, you can just pick them off the level, at least slightly, and then come back to stage and then go ledge trap. Alright, let's pit Dark Samus and Samus together. I think this is a +1 as well. Reason why I don't put it as a +2, let me find Samus here. Where the hell is Samus? We're in the S's. There you go, Samus. Okay. So these are +1s. I think Cloud beats them in disadvantage, and ledge trapping phase is really difficult for Samus. I feel like Cloud's big sword covers a lot of area for Samus as well, so it's easy to catch them landing, especially in vertical pressure and disadvantage. Now, the one thing Samus does have going for them is their great zoning tools and their great ledge trapping pressure, which is universal against all characters with Samus, but I feel like Cloud can tend to struggle sometimes a little bit against that, especially if you're a bit impatient. I feel like if Samuses are timing their neutral airs correctly, timing their bombs, their down Bs and ledge trapping phase and side Bs and zoning, I feel like it is doable for a Samus player to win, especially on Wi-Fi. On Wi-Fi, it's even. But in offline, I think it's +1. Alright, let's talk next about Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt is another basically impossible to lose matchup unless you're playing dumb or you get outplayed by a top player. Alrighty. Cloud Duck Hunt could be +3 if I put a +3 option. Reason why? Dash attack, Cloud dash attack, destroys Bean, Frisbee, Gunman. Every single one of their zoning tools gets deleted by one button. Alongside that, it's really hard to get at a disadvantage with Duck Hunt. Their out of shield game is atrocious, so Cloud can pressure Duck Hunt for free. Cloud can struggle against Frisbee, but very rarely. All you really have to do is just mash against Duck Hunt and just really destroy their projectiles like a fly swatter, and you win every time. Literally nothing more needs to be said. It's a dominant matchup. What else? Let's talk about Falco. Falco is interesting. Now, I've fought in a couple Falcos in the past. I think this matchup is not that bad for Falco. I'm still putting in +1 though. Up tilt can beat out Cloud in the air sometimes, even when he's trying to back air or forward air. You really have to out-time the Falco doing these up tilts, because if they do whiff or they are blocked, they are very punishable on shield and can be punished because they're a decent bit of end lag. Once Falco does get the hit though, Falco does do really good in vertical pressure against Cloud because of up air and back air confirms with up tilt. Alongside that, Falco does do really solid off the level, but like I said before, in a lot of these matchups, Falco does tend to struggle out of shield alongside dealing with Cloud's safe neutral pressure. All Cloud literally has to do is just press a couple buttons, landing buttons in neutral, like back air, forward air, and just really wait for that RPS opening. And yeah, that's why it's +1. Fox, I think this is a high +1. I don't think it's a +2. Obviously, Fox has a lot of counterplay. Cloud has big fucking sword. Fox, very, very fast. Fox can sometimes catch Cloud in the air with up tilt, maybe dash attacks if they land correctly or nairs. But Cloud has such big sword hitboxes, and Fox is so light that a lot of things like back airs will kill super early, even when staling, like around 120, 130, even when staled, or fresh back air 110. Forward air is really oppressive against Fox. I think forward air literally makes the matchup super hard because that thing just out priorities everything that character has. So yeah, that's definitely one I tend to dislike. Yeah. Alrighty. And also, one last thing about Fox, off the level, you can actually dare spike Fox for trying to up B very consistently as Cloud. Definitely something you guys should keep in mind if you're fighting a Fox player. Alrighty, what's next? Let's talk about Greninja. Greninja is a +1, but it could also be even, depending on the Greninja skill sets. Now let's talk about Greninja, right? Greninja has a lot of fast, nimble, and hard to react to buttons. For example, dash attack, neutral air, back air, down tilt. You know, very hard to react sometimes, and they're super safe, including that neutral air and back air. But I feel like Cloud can safely pressure them, especially on their shield, and in neutral, Cloud having such a big sword kind of makes it easy for him to get in. But I also do think that if the Greninja does anticipate Cloud's landings in neutral, he can get a free dash attack into a confirm. So I don't think it's all lost for Greninja. I think Greninja does have some counterplay with dash attack and nairs into their signature confirms. But I also can see why Cloud players could struggle against Greninja and vice versa. Next, Ganon. Oh, it's easy +2. I'm gonna put it in like 3 sentences. Big body, heavyweight, punching bag. Alongside Cloud being able to freely edge guard this guy and punish basically every single one of his moves, it's a winning. Nothing more needs to be said. Hero, +1. I think Hero has some counterplay, especially with like with Zap, and his aerials being pretty solid. Having Acceleratle kind of makes it a lot easier for heroes to get in, but I feel like Cloud can safely pressure Hero's shield without feeling too worried, and a lot of Cloud's neutral options can't actually be punished by Hero that much unless you land an unsafe move after. So really it's just a kind of timing mix-up thing if the hero can get lucky with menu or successfully outplay the Cloud, which can happen, guys. Just because of the matchup, just because the matchup looks like it's winning, some people can get outplayed by the character. And you know what? You just gotta live, laugh, and learn. Alright, next up, let's talk about Ices. I think Ices is another +2. Back air, forward air, separates the climbers for free, which is one button. If you could separate Nana from Popo, it's really easy for Cloud to overwhelm Sopo, alongside both the characters in general. I bet you don't even have to separate the climbers, and you would still have an easy time pressuring them. A lot of their options are kind of unsafe, and they lack range, and Ices can't really shield grab you. Their shield grab's really bad, so you can literally just pressure them for free. Even if you miss space, you can literally pressure them, and it's so funny. All in all, you could beat them off the level, you could edge guard them, you could ledge trap them. Really easy matchup to overwhelm Ices players with. So yeah, definitely a winning matchup. Let's talk next, Ike. Now I think Ike is a +1 matchup. I'm gonna put him in +1. Reason why? I think Ike genuinely has some counterplay. Ike has moves like Nair, back air, down tilt, even forward tilt that can outspace or just barely be safe enough to avoid Cloud's up B. Cloud can safely pressure Ike because Ike doesn't have the best out of shield options, but Ike does have limited use options like shield drop up B for super armor or just shield grabbing, because Ike has one of the best shield grabs out of the low tiers in my opinion and can get a lot of stuff out of grabs. Ike can safely out-time Cloud's forward air and back air with neutral air and get confirms like that because Ike's neutral air is super fast and a really good combo tool for him. It's basically Ike's best move. So it's definitely, there is some counterplay, but Cloud generally can have an easy time punishing a lot of Ike's options and can avoid a lot of Ike's strings because most of them are neutral air dodgeable. If you neutral air dodge, you can avoid a lot of the bullshit. Alright, let's talk next. Let's talk Incin. Incin +2. I think Ensign destroys Cloud a lot. Not Ensign. I think Cloud destroys Ensign a lot. Reason why is because off the level, Cloud can really pressure them with neutral air and back airs, especially if they recover low or high. What else? Ledge trapping works effectively against Incineroar since they are very slow, and you could really outrun Incin in general and just really overshoot them for free because of how slow they are. And they are kind of a heavyweight, but not really, so they can be pressured if they're holding in. So it's definitely a +2. All right, let's do a couple more. Let's speed run through a couple. Isabelle +2. Cloud can destroy her down B with dash attack. Can outrange Isabelle. Can basically negate forward air and back air and fishing rod because he could just fly past them and overshoot. Disadvantage is really hard for Isabelle here because you can ledge trap them for free. So it's really hard for Isabelle's to get in because of poor out of shield options and not really having good pressure tools in general. And Cloud just being such an oppressive character with cross slash back airs, forward airs, can really just overrun and overwhelm Isabelle. Puff, another matchup I think is +2. The difference is though is that Puff does have really good horizontal air acceleration, so they can contest forward air and back air sometimes. But if you up tilt as Cloud, up tilt kind of the little mini fly swatter beats out Jigglypuff really dominantly in my opinion. So definitely something to consider when you're fighting Jigglypuff. I do have some VODs from one of my tournaments that I entered one time a while ago where I beat a Puff player who's really good, by the way. Shoutouts to Rare Sushi. Where I used a lot of up tilt towards the end to just kind of snuff out the opponent. What's next? Kirby, another +2 in my opinion. Really easy to outrange, overrun, and overshoot against Kirby because they're slow, lack range, and overall have a really bad disadvantage. Simple +2. What's next? Mario. I've played this matchup so many times, +2. Mario can get good combos if the Cloud is holding in, for example, up air strings into forward air, stuff like that. But I think Cloud dominantly destroys Mario because he outranges Mario. He can pressure Mario for free. And a lot of that stuff is really easy for Cloud. Cloud can just simply press a couple buttons to overwhelm the Mario, while Mario actually has to land his moves perfectly and try to outtime the Cloud and punish him efficiently, which is really hard to do. A lot of players cannot do that unless they're better than the Cloud player. Alrighty, what's next? What's some easy ones we could drop down to? Ness, another +2. Ness kind of gets blown up in disadvantage. Jumping in the corner is really bad for Ness against Cloud because he could just overshoot Bear. Nair, PK Fire kind of gets beaten out. Ness is a bit too floaty, so if they try to short hop against you, you could really just get free cross slashes, up tilt. It's really easy for Cloud to pressure Ness, and Ness can't really do too much about it out of shield unless you make a genuine mistake. Disadvantage is really bad for Ness against Cloud, because Cloud has a lot of these overshoot big sword hitbox options. But obviously stuff like PK Thunder, you know, stuff like getting those advantage states, Ness does have a pretty solid advantage state against Cloud in my opinion. So if you do lose to a Ness player, you're just worse than him. Or by them. You're worse than them. Simple as that. Also, Lucas is another +2. I think Lucas has a bit more safe poking buttons against Cloud. Definitely Lucas has an easier time against Cloud in my opinion than Ness, especially off the level with back airs. Like that back air spike's so good in the Dare 2. Shoutouts to Dr. PK, my GOAT, Lucas player. I've fought a bunch of Lucases before, so a lot of their moves are kind of unsafe, but they do have safe buttons. PK Freeze can edgeguard you early, but Cloud overwhelms them in neutral with his safe buttons. It's a very similar story across the board with these +2 characters, is that they get overwhelmed in neutral, they can't really do much against safe buttons out of shield, and Cloud can push an advantage state and bully them for free. Alright, let's jot down a couple more. And then, let's see which one we could do that's decent. let's talk about ZSS. ZSS is a +2. I think ZSS gets destroyed by Cloud. Cloud has big hitboxes. He could overshoot for free. He can mash on ZSS. He could avoid a lot of the nair to like down B confirms, a lot of flip kick confirms from ZSS. He outranges her, can ledge trap her efficiently. Alongside that, having impressive moves like up tilt, up air, back air. Kind of overwhelms ZSS because she can't really do too much out of shield. Zair does sometimes work effectively against Cloud, but if you just Cloud dash attack, you can just kind of beat them out for free. So yeah, it's definitely +2. ZSS's had to genuinely outplay you to win. So respect the ZSS mains. What else? Inkling, +1. I don't think it's +2. I think Inkling does have some counterplay. Their nair is deceptively long. Back air, side B. They have a lot of options. They're very nimble and have extremely good mobility, in my opinion. Having good poking options that are super safe. Stuff like that. I think they do have options against Cloud that can do solid. Reason why they lose, horrible disadvantage. They can't really do too much against Cloud's pressure in neutral. Edge guarding is not really too much of a factor. I feel like Inkling can edge guard Cloud efficiently more than Cloud can edge guard her. So overall, I do think Inkling does have some counterplay, but I still think Cloud wins just because big sword good, no sword, no sword. Alrighty, let's get a couple more. Let's see what we're gonna pick. Sora, I would say +1. I think Sora genuinely has some counterplay. Let's talk about it. So I've fought in good Sora players before. Cloud can really pressure Sora pretty hard. Sora can't do too much out of shield against Cloud, obviously, unless you make a genuine mistake. But Sora does have some safe buttons against Cloud. Nair 1 is super safe. Can not get punished by Cloud, but Nair 2 is barely safe enough, unsafe enough to where you could up B. Really hard to do though. Sora does have some good spells that can beat up Cloud off the level alongside great edge guarding. Alongside that, they have some poking tools that are safe. And in general, I think Sora has a pretty solid time in neutral, all things considered, because they can play, they can go pretty even with Cloud. But I think Cloud still wins because of the disadvantage being pretty bad, and alongside Cloud's amazing ledge trapping. Alrighty, what's next? Little Mac, +2. A lot of players will lose to him on Wi-Fi though, which can happen. Genuinely on Wi-Fi, sometimes this feels bad, but there's a lot of good Mac players on Wi-Fi. Shoutouts to my Wi-Fi Macs. W gamers over here. Zone him out. Wall him with your big hitboxes like Bear, and you should be good, honestly. There's nothing more to say. You should be fine. Okay. K-Rool, another +2. Crown does not get out priority by Bear. You had to use a lot of forward air in this matchup because forward air out priorities Crown side B's heavy armor and neutral B's heavy armor. As long as you use more forward air than back air in this matchup, you should be good. Link, I think all the Links lose to Cloud. I'm just gonna bunch them up into one group. They're all +2s. All you have to do is this one move called Cloud Dash Attack, and it beats out Arrow, Boomerang, Bomb, destroys all of them. Obviously, I think the best one that has a chance is Toon Link because he has a 6-frame up B out of shield. Really broken, by the way. But you can't complain because we're playing Cloud here, right? They get pressured. A lot of their zoning tools get destroyed, which makes a lot of their game plans harder to do. Obviously, all these Links have solid nairs, so it's kind of easy for them to do good counterplay against them. But honestly, I think Cloud overwhelms them way too much for their own good. You have to outplay your opponent to beat them against Cloud. Pikachu, let's do +1. Same with Pichu. I think them being really short is really hard for Cloud to catch, especially in disadvantage. When they're in disadvantage, they can kind of escape and reposition a lot. I still think Cloud does good against them because big sword versus not too much range. They do have safe buttons against Cloud though. It's just they kind of get outplayed. Cross slash is very oppressive against these two. because you could just catch up to them really quick and up tilt, maybe cross slash, get some pressure going. And they can't punish you for pressuring them with Bear or Fair. Olimar, easy +2. Pikmin get destroyed by one button, aka back air, and gets overwhelmed easily. Nothing more to be said. Same with Mii Sword Fighter. Mii Sword Fighter is tricky because a lot of their moves do set up into good setups, and they can kill you very early if you don't expect it. But if you pressure their shield, literally there's nothing they could do. And Mii Sword Fighter is super fucking slow. Rosalina, +2. Simply put, you can separate Luma very easily with dash attacks, back airs, forward airs. All you need is one button, and Luma's like, bye-bye. You know what I mean? So you can easily pressure them. Off the level, Rosalina can do some stuff off the level and get some confirms. All you need to know is just really VOD review that matchup if you do lose, because there is a high chance you might lose, obviously, because the matchup isn't played that often. Lucario, simple reason, Lucario can't get Aura, because you could kill them at 110% with the back air. Like, it's so hard for them to get Aura that they can't play the game. And their disadvantage is kind of bad. Simple. I'm going to say Marth and Lucina in the same group. They have counterplay. They have safe buttons against Cloud. They have good up B edge shield. Reason they lose, they can kind of get a little bit decimated off the level, but they could do the same thing back to Cloud. Their neutral is kind of not good against Cloud because Marth is specifically unsafe for the most part against Cloud with his tipper buttons being mostly -7. Lucina can pressure a lot safer and have an easier time in neutral. So this could go definitely either way for the Cloud player. It just depends on your comfortability in the matchup. Luigi +1. Luigi does have some good combos against Cloud. Can out-combo him pretty easily. So definitely one of those matchups that does have some counterplay. But obviously Luigi gets overwhelmed in disadvantage. Back air and forward air kind of cripples the character a fuck ton. So it's definitely not very fun for Luigi in general. Especially in disadvantage, you could edge guard Luigi really hard. Actually, I'm gonna move this to a +2. That's +2. Belmonts, we're gonna bunch them up together. Reason they lose, they Cloud overshoots for free, super fast. Really hard for the Belmonts to set up their projectile game and zoning game in general because Cloud's so fast, and you could just overshoot and get in easier and just react. What else? Robin's a +2. Cloud overwhelms them in advantage state and neutral. They can't really pick you in neutral that much. Main thing is off the level. Off the level, Robin can have some options with arc fire setup, so be prepared to DI out of that stuff. But overall, you should have an easy time as long as you know the matchup and you know you have good fundies. Ridley +1. I think Ridley gets beaten out by Cloud mainly because Cloud's Nair, Ridley's Nair kind of sucks. It's unsafe. Ridley can do a lot of off the level pressure against Cloud, so it's definitely doable for Ridley's to kind of go off the level, edge guard you. But a lot of their moves are can't poke. You can't poke as Ridley against Cloud because you can get upbeat for free. But there is some counterplay though. I could tell you that this definitely very well is not a bad matchup for Ridley. Like, Ridley can do some options here. Game & Watch +2. Literally just keep Game & Watch in the corner. Do not let them create space, and you win. Even though that up B is frame 3, if you just keep them in the freaking corner all the time and keep them in disadvantage, you win. This Cloud, big sword, big good. Brawler +2. They can't get a lot of their setups on Cloud because you get SDI out of it. Cloud having a big sword means Mii Brawler kind of has to contest him heavy. So it's really hard for Mii Brawler to get in general. Same thing for Gunner. Gunner's, a lot of Gunner's moves get kind of out-prioritied by Cloud's back air or the fly swatter. So it's kind of difficult for Gunner to get in as well. Simple. Sephiroth gets overwhelmed by Cloud. Cloud can overshoot, and since Sephiroth has a lot of like big poking options that take a lot of startup to come out, Cloud can just come in faster and just punish him for trying to start something. Sephiroth can have some counterplay though, especially with their Nair, their forward air. If the Cloud isn't creating pressure and distant it and playing like a brawl, where he's like distancing the space or closing in the space, Sephiroth can just create as much space as he wants and he can win. What else? Sheik, even. I think a lot of players think this is a losing matchup. No, it's even, bro. Reason why you're losing is because you're holding in, buddy. Stop holding in, you chatbot. Anyways, Sheik. Sheik is a matchup that is very doable for Cloud, but it's also very doable for Sheik. Sheik can combo Cloud a lot, especially if you're holding in. So don't hold in, kids. But Cloud can overshoot and out-time Sheik's aerials with forward air and back airs. If you time correctly, you can get a free cross slash or a potential startup to your advantage state. Sheik doesn't have the best disadvantage against Cloud. You could really pressure her safely and ledge trap her consistently, but Sheik can also do the same thing to you. She could edge guard you. She could pressure your shield for free, alongside being able to deal with Cloud's pressure as well. So it's definitely very back and forth and neutral and disadvantage from both characters. So, you know, it's an even match in my opinion. Next up, Meta Knight. Don't have too much experience in this matchup, but what I can tell you is that it's +1. Meta Knight has a lot of unsafe moves that Cloud can just up B out of. The one thing Meta Knight does have going for him against Cloud is edge guarding. He can edge guard Cloud pretty consistently with that neutral air of his. But I think Cloud kind of puts him in disadvantage, and Meta Knight can't really deal with Cloud's safe pressure in neutral. Mewtwo, similar story to a lot of characters, big hurt box, very light, gets pressured, gets put in disadvantage, can be edge guarded. Simple. Min Min is a +1. Now, a lot of players think Min Min beats Cloud. I doubt it, bro. No. Here's what you gotta do. With Cloud, you need to close the gap as fast as possible. You cannot create space. Do not be a play patient. Play like a masher. You're gonna make it so her arms don't do as much value because you're closer to her. Then you're gonna overshoot forward air, overwhelm her, put her in the corner, and edge guard her. Boom. Simple solution. Now, obviously, you'll have to mix that with repositioning, them trying to mix up with grab, these options, right? Now, obviously, all these combined, you have to do that. So yeah, it's definitely something you do gotta do as a Cloud against Min Min. It's doable for any Cloud to beat a Min Min. You just gotta play right. On Wi-Fi though, if we're talking about Wi-Fi, shit's even. Or outright -1. In person though, +1. Sonic, even. I think this matchup's kind of difficult, especially on Wi-Fi. On Wi-Fi, whoop. Offline here. Offline against Cloud. Cloud has the speed to kind of overshoot against Sonic and can deal with Sonic's spin dash pressure because Cloud is very fast and has a lot of moves that out priority Sonic's moves, but Sonic can out camp him, edge guard him efficiently, alongside having somewhat of an easy time in neutral. They kind of beat each other back and forth. Cloud can do some great ledge trapping though against Sonic. Palutena +1. A lot of Palutena's moves are slightly too unsafe for Cloud. Forward air and nair being especially potent. You could just up B for free. Palutena does have an easy time getting in air-to-air situations with neutral air and forward air and back air. Really able to like get in neutral, but just can't deal with Cloud's safe pressure at a shield unless you get a shield grab. Because Palutena's shield grab is really fucking good. Villager +2. Cloud can pressure them easily, can beat out Tree. They have really unsafe buttons. They can't really do too much at a shield. Just kind of an easy matchup for Cloud to just overwhelm, put them in the corner, and just be done with it. What else? Kazuya, I'm gonna say +1. Forward air beats out Kazuya's Electric Wind Godfist, which is very vital. If you use a lot of forward air against Kazuya, you will have a higher chance of success. If you DI properly against Kazuya, you can avoid all the Kazuya bullshit, the combo shit. If you SDI, whoop, you'll be able to avoid a lot of that. And honestly, if you just stay in the air and just air stall him with forward air and back airs, you win. No doubt. Alright. What's next? Ken +2. In my opinion, I don't know too much about Ken, but what I can say is that Cloud can pick out a lot of these FGC characters because he has more range, could punish their special attacks out of shield, like their input attacks. I'm gonna put Terry and Ryu on the +2. Because he could just out-priority them, they can't do much out of shield, yada yada yada. Same story as a lot of these +2s. Let me find Ryu. All +2s. Snake, I'd say Snake's +1. But only reason why is... Actually, no, I'm gonna put him in even, actually. No, he's even. I think it's a 50-50. Why? Grenades can do well against Cloud. If you miss space properly, if you don't space properly, and they time your aerial. But the reason Snake does bad against Cloud is because all their aerials suck and are super unsafe against Cloud. You could just boop 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 up B for free. You can do a lot of those free pressure tools for absolutely free. Like, you donate that shit. They donate that shit to you for absolutely free. Disadvantage is really bad for Snake. But his ledge trapping is super good against Cloud. But there is counterplay. You could up air the up smash to clank with the up smash, like Snake's up smash, like the projectile bomb. You could up air to clank. Thanks Kronos for that advice, bro. My goat. But yeah. Peach +1. Peach does have turnips, nair, bear, fair, so they can overshoot. Peach's ledge trapping is the only reason I put this in +1 and not +2. Because they can ledge trap Cloud efficiently or edge guard if you're stupid with Cloud. Otherwise, I think Cloud overwhelms her. She can't do anything out of shield. Cloud kind of destroys the shit out of her. Zelda. Basically repeat what I said about every +2 matchup. Overwhelmed, gets in the corner easily, can't punish out of shield, can't do much to counterplay unless outplaying people. Pac-Man. Similar story, except Hydron and the projectiles can do a pretty decent job at deflecting Cloud, especially with Bell confirms. So it's doable for Pac-Man because Pac-Man does have a really good projectile game, but on paper, from what I've seen and what I've watched in VODs, Cloud can win pretty consistently. DDD +2, big heavyweight, masher, you could just mash. PT +1. Actually, nah, +2. No, +1 because of Squirtle. Cloud beats Ivysaur, destroys Ivysaur so bad. Charizard, he struggles a little bit, but I think it's +1. A lot of confirms can beat Cloud with Charizard. And Charizard kinda doesn't have a hard time getting in. Squirtle also doesn't have a hard time getting in. Either against Cloud. I think they have safe buttons that can pressure Cloud and a lot of DI specific combos that do work against Cloud. Now let's talk about some other matchups. Roy's +1. Same thing with Chrom. Safe buttons, can rock paper scissors well and do a lot of RPS and scramble situations. But Cloud can put them in the corner and can really put them in disadvantage. And it's hard to land as Roy against Cloud with such vertical pressure and good landing options. Rob +1. The only reason this is +1 is because Rob's a big body, big hurt box. Rob has good zoning tools, can edge guard Cloud, can ledge trap Cloud, and can confirm Cloud with a lot of shield grabs. But Cloud having big sword, Rob having big body, it's a lot of a higher chance to have more positive neutral trades in my opinion. And that's why I like the matchup a lot. Next up, Plant +2. I'm gonna stop saying what I need to say, it's just dominant. Wolf is even. It's a 50-50, mainly because I think that Wolf has laser, nair, and fair, which can contest Cloud when in air-to-air situations. Obviously, Cloud has forward and back air, which he could also contest Wolf with. Wolf can edge guard Cloud, but Cloud can also edge guard Wolf, so it's very back and forth. These guys have very similar spreads and can really just outplay each other back and forth, in my opinion. So I'd consider it even. Yoshi winning. Yoshi gets out prioritied. He gets put in disadvantage very easily. Can be cross-slashed a bunch. Cloud just kind of does his Cloud shit. Wii Fit +2. I mean, Cloud can kind of just up B out of shield everything, and Wii Fit doesn't have good hitboxes, in my opinion. Especially against Cloud. Wario +1. I think Cloud can beat Wario just because of the pressure that Cloud can create. And Wario doesn't have the best out of shield game, but shoutouts to the GOAT Lipton. There is some counterplay, especially Nair, when you're timing out Cloud's aerials, and Bike can be used, especially. But I still think Cloud wins just because of safe pressure and ease of use. Alrighty, coming in, Steve +2. Steve can... Actually, no, I put him in the top of +1 because of fucking up tilt. Up tilt's the only thing Steve's got in this matchup where he just like... Boop, 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 boop. Hate up tilt. That move sucks. I hate it. Up tilt's the only reason it's +1. Cloud can overshoot Bear and really like keep Steve in this bad spot where you can't mine, and if he tries to mine, he'll get punished and overshooted. And disadvantage is really bad. The only reason Steve can do well is because of block tech skill, anvil, and up tilt. Up tilt, I hate that move. The only reason I don't, the only Steve move that I dislike is up tilt. Mega Man +2. Literally the exact same thing as everything I've said already in the past, present, and future. Alright, we're getting down. I think we're at the last couple characters. Nice. Choke even. Choke is an even matchup. Here's why. Shulk can edgeguard Cloud very consistently. But Cloud can also edgeguard Shulk very back and forth. Next up, with Shulk, I feel like Shulk has an easy time punishing Cloud for mashing, but Cloud can also outtime Shulk's very high startup frame data with nairs or bears or just full hop aerials instead of short hopping. So it's definitely doable. Timing out arts is really important because against Shulk, you do have to time out his arts, especially shield art when you're at when Shulk's at high percent against Cloud. So definitely something you want to do as the Cloud player. What? Oh my god, my eye. What the? Oh, my eye. Sorry, chat. Sorry. My eye is not eyeing right now. Anyways, Joker -1. Joker consistently beats Cloud. I think Joker can out priority Cloud. I think he has an easy time getting in. I think Arsene makes the problem even more exacerbated. Aha is so oppressive. Nair is oppressive. Edge guarding is easy for Joker. Gun beats out Cloud's recovery options. Probably one of the few only losing matchups. Dislike this matchup. I wouldn't consider going a counter pick, but just outplay the Joker player. Outplay him, please, man. Do it for me. Aegis, another -1. Aegis has an easy time getting in. They have an easy time poking. They have really fast moves. They are unsafe, though. All of them are unsafe, so you could up B for free. But they're super quick. And hard to react to. They could edge guard you for free, which is very good against Cloud. And since their moves are so fast, they can do it for free and with ease. So definitely, these are the only two -1s. I think we got almost everyone. Let me double check. Yeah, that's everyone. Well, anyways, guys, this was my Cloud matchup chart. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys do have any questions, please let me know in the comments of this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and you guys take care, okay? See you guys later.